Alright, what up, people? It's your boy Cheap from Guna Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it's to talk about the player ratings from Arsenal's demolition job of Bournemouth, where Arsenal ran out 5-1 winners at the Emirates Stadium last night. And it was a fantastic performance. It really was. It was such a fun game to watch. It really was. Not just because there were goals, but I actually thought the performance warranted the result. I know some people thought that the result flattered Arsenal a little bit. I didn't think so because, yes, don't get me wrong, I thought Lennon had to make a couple of good saves. But other than that, I never really felt like Bournemouth deserved to get anything less than the arse whooping they got. To be real, I never thought to myself, oh, you know, they deserved more, or they didn't deserve to be humiliated, or you know, I don't know where the scoreline flattered us sentiment comes from. I actually thought the performance deserved the scoreline. The other thing that I'm starting to hear a lot as well in the grapevine, and even I have to admit, I'm not his biggest fan. I'm not Mesut Ozil's biggest fan. You know, some of you guys know this. But even I'm like, okay, this is some bullshit. Where you're hearing a lot of people say, oh, it was only Bournemouth. I know Bournemouth had a lot of injuries yesterday, and that definitely played a part in yesterday's woeful performance from them. But this is the same Bournemouth, all right, minus a couple of players, who smacked us up a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago. You know, people forget that at Bournemouth. They're 10th in the league as well. These players are no chumps. You know, it was only a couple of weeks ago, or was it last week, where they beat Chelsea 4-0. So let's give our players a little bit of credit. Let's give Mesut Ozil a little bit of credit. Lord knows I criticize him because I feel like most of the time he deserves to be criticized. But you know what? I actually thought yesterday he produced a brilliant performance. Him, and you know the person that I think went under the radar by myself. I'm not saying anyone else did. Myself, and I didn't sing his praises enough. Mkhitaryan was every bit as brilliant as Mesut Ozil yesterday. In fact, I'll go as far as to say it was Mkhitaryan's best performance in an Arsenal shirt. I don't know what has happened to Mkhitaryan since he's come back from injury, but I'll tell you what, if he does continue these level of performances from now until the end of the season, I ain't going to be so quick to get rid of this guy. I'm not going to lie, and him and Ozil, I didn't quite see that coming, but him and Ozil seem to have a great understanding. I mean, between them, they've bamboozled the Bournemouth defence. Now, I will say this. To me, I did think that Bournemouth played the sort of game that suits an Arsenal. If you're going to try and kick ball with us, we're going to smack you off the pitch, which is why most teams don't. And if the only teams that do are actually better than us, namely a Man City, or Liverpool. Whereas, you know, if you're Bournemouth, don't try and kick ball with us, because if you're going to do that, you're going to get smacked up. And that's what happened yesterday. So from that perspective, yes, I agree. I do think that did make a difference. I thought it was the wrong game plan from Eddie Howe. But then what can you do? You know, you're Bournemouth. You're not that great to begin with, and then you have 6 injuries on top of that. You can only do what you can do. And we can only beat what is there, and we beat them, and we beat them well. The players deserve credit. Credit where credit is due. So with that being said, let's talk about the player ratings. Let's go with Leno in goal. I'm going to give Leno an 8. I thought he had a couple of weird, dodgy moments with the kicking. But I actually thought his saves were very important at the time he made them. And he has a habit of making important saves just when you need him to. And fair play to him for that. So, yeah, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Now, I've heard a lot of people, when they talk about the player ratings, talk about the back four, like they started in a back four. I think most of us can see they started with three at the back, which was an interesting tactic from Emre. Through most of us, because we didn't get that, but tell you what, it produced the results, so fair play to him. So let's talk about the three at the back. Let's start with Socrates. I actually didn't really like Socrates' performance yesterday. You know, I thought he was quite rash a lot of the time. He almost had this mustaffiness about him, which was really weird. And I was like, what's going on? I don't think he was as bad as Mustafi, but yeah, he wasn't his normal composed self yesterday. I'll give him a 7 out of 10, only because we only conceded one. I think he did recover as the game went on, but I thought for about 50 minutes, my man just seemed a bit ropey. Like, I was like, what's going on? Kashani, on the other hand, boy, I ain't gonna lie to you. This was a real captain's performance from Kashani. Fair play. I'll give him an 8 out of 10. I was a bit worried when he did that kind of, because Mustafi's getting referenced a lot today, but there's only one way of saying it. That Mustafi-like slide that he did. Well, and at the time, we were like 5-1 up. I was like, bruh, calm down. You don't need to be like that. Came sliding in from about 10 yards out, and my man trampled all over his knee. And because we know Kashani's made out of glass, everyone was like, oh, shit. Because he was down for a bit. But luckily, he recovered, and yeah, hopefully he'll be all right for the Spurs game, because Lord knows we need him for the Spurs game. Monreal. Yeah, he was all right. He was okay without being spectacular. 7 out of 10. Let's go left wing back, Kolasinac. I saw Kolasinac get a lot of praise yesterday. I thought he did all right yesterday. I didn't think he did as well as people are making out, though. But I thought it was okay. I'd give him a 7. I don't think he was amazing or anything yesterday. I don't think he was particularly integral to our play yesterday. But I thought he provided width. And I thought actually his runs gave Ozil and particularly Ozil actually a lot of freedom around that left-hand side. So yeah, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. On the flip side, Big Jenko. I was very happy he started, and I'll tell you what, he did all right for someone that barely plays football and that was limited at to begin with. I actually thought he did all right yesterday. I really did. Listen, my man is living the dream. You know, he's effectively an Arsenal fan who happens to play for the club and getting paid 60,000 a week for the privilege. Fair fucking play. I don't know how he hustled it. I need his agent. Actually, no, I want Ramsey's agent with Carl Jenkinson's agent in the background. But I'll tell you what, fair play to him. I actually thought he did all right yesterday and showed a lot of heart and commitment. You know, that's what Carl Jenkinson... Listen, I ain't going to try and pitch for Carl Jenkinson to get an extended stay at Arsenal. Don't get it twisted. We need a better caliber of player. But for what he did yesterday, listen, he can kick ball better than any of us. So he did all right yesterday. So I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Matteo Guendouzi, I actually thought was our worst player yesterday. I 19 or not, sometimes you just have to be real. You guys know I'm a big defender of his. I think the quality is definitely there. But we also have to be real. Mistakes are there in his game. And he needs to start to phase that shit out. We conceded a goal because of him and him being... I don't know how you can be big and lightweight at the same time. I want to see my man go in the gym. I know that's rich coming from me, but at least I'm a big motherfucker. Ain't no one knocking me over. So I want to see him go into the gym and actually put a bit of muscle on, because he got flung off that ball, was trying to cry foul. I don't know about you. As soon as I saw it, I was like, get the fuck up. I'm not going to lie to you. As soon as I saw it, I was pissed. And I was just like, get the fuck up. I'm tempted to say 5. But he did make a couple of nice passes. There was one ball over the top to Lacazette, which I really liked, and Lacazette should have done better with. I'll give him a 6, but I need to see better from him. I do. Torreira, I thought, had a quiet game yesterday. I thought he was trying. He was trying to be nippy and stuff, but I didn't think there was anything particularly special that he did yesterday. For that reason, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the two superstars. Let's go Mkhitaryan. I thought Mkhitaryan was brilliant yesterday. Everything he was trying came off. I thought the movement in particular was what impressed me about Mkhitaryan. So him and Ozil were working in tandem a lot of the time. And Ozil was kind of ghosting players, and Mkhitaryan was the one that was using this movement to try and take the players out of position. It was beautiful work. Beautiful, honestly. You know what I advise? If you heard the game on record or somewhere, or you're able to watch the highlights, just put the mute off and just watch them too. It was a work of art. Even I have to admit it. And let me reiterate, people, I ain't a Mesut Ozil fan. But yesterday, when he plays like that, it's hard not to be. It's hard not to be. But for Mkhitaryan yesterday, I'll give him a 9 out of 10. And for his midfield maestro, the magician, Mesut Ozil, I'll give him a 9 out of 10 as well. And he just about edges man in a match for me. Just because everything ticked around him. And listen, again, let me reiterate, I'm not a Mesut Ozil fan. But even I've had to defend him last few hours from people saying, oh, it was only Bournemouth, and you know, he's got to do it week in, week out. Fuck Mesut Ozil. Listen, let's enjoy what he did yesterday. But yeah, for him, the challenge is to reproduce that. You want to shut people up like me? Reproduce that. You know, because I ain't going to lie to you. I got a feeling he's going to start on the bench on Saturday. A lot of Arsenal fans are going to be pissed. He has to be able to justify the reason for that pick. You know, justify why he is the man of this team. And he needs to step up. I think he's going in the summer anyway, because I do think the board regret giving him the contract that they've given him, and they want to try and find an amicable way out. So if I'm Mesut Ozil, if these are my last 10 games for Arsenal Football Club, sign off in style. So, 10 in the league. I don't know how many ever in the league, and how many ever there is to come in Europa. Sign off in style. Why not? Sign off having given Arsenal their first European Cup in a long time. Sign off in style and lead that club to a top 4 place, something that has eluded them for the last 2 years. As an Arsenal fan, forget being a Mesut fan. As an Arsenal fan, surely that's all we want for this season. That's all we want. Surely. Mesut Ozil, 9 out of 10. Aubameyang. I'm not going to lie to you. Until the goal, I thought he was okay at best. I didn't think he was having that good of a game. I know what people are going to tell me. His off-the-ball running was really good yesterday, and it did allow for space for people like Mkhitaryan and Ozil to create what they created. All right, I'll grant you that. But if that was all he did, I would have given him a 6. But I thought the goal was well taken, really showed his pace. I ain't going to lie, he was pissing me off with the offsides. He kept being offside. I'm like, bro, you as fast as you are, why do you keep needing to be offside? But he timed his run for the goal brilliantly, and that effectively killed the game. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Let's talk about the substitutes real quick. So we've got to talk about Lacazette. I thought Lacazette was brilliant. It's funny, you know, because they were preparing for the free kick, and I watched the feed with Alan Smith on the commentary. And Alan Smith was like, gosh, Lacazette must be really desperate to score. You kind of make it some sort of like half-hearted joke about Lacazette taking this free kick. And I just thought to myself, I bet he scores now. Bang! Scored. I was like, yes, like, yes, Lacazette. Oh, it was a brilliant free kick. Brilliant free kick. And for that, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. For Suarez, I thought Suarez was okay. Didn't really get into it as much as possible. I am curious as to how this guy is not starting games at all for Arsenal. It makes me think, what, does Emery not even rate this kid now? So yeah, it is interesting to me, but I'll give him a 5 out of 10. Iwobi, I actually thought Iwobi came on and looked quite lively. I do like him as a sub, you know, I do. I think he does make a good impact, and I think the fans appreciate him more when he comes on as a sub. Provided good energy, made a couple of decent passes actually, almost had an Ozil-like cameo from the previous game. Laid on a couple of opportunities that actually Lacazette should have done better with. One in particular that was just short of Ozil's path. But yeah, I thought Iwobi did well enough. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. The manager, I think the manager picked a team that I wouldn't have picked, played a shape that I wouldn't have played, but motivated the team after a really good performance against Southampton without the goals to show for it. Tweaked the shape, tweaked the personnel, and we came out on top. And not only came out on top, but destroyed them 5-1. And off the back of the last 3 wins, we're now Arsenal. I would actually dare to say they're in good form and ready for Tottenham, which is a weird thing to say. Shock horror. Harry Kane hasn't received the punishment for his attempted headbutt. Was anyone surprised by that? England's darling, come on. You were reaching if you actually thought Harry Kane would be banned for this game. Fuck it. Bring it. Bring it. Let's go. We got this. You guys let me know what you think. What are your player ratings? Because player ratings is always a subjective thing. It always pisses people off. I'll always like to reiterate, just because I have the player rating I have, doesn't mean you guys have to agree. So leave that shit in the comment below. If you like this video, crush, destroy, drop kick the shit out of that like button. I appreciate it when you guys do that. I'll be back tomorrow with 2 videos. One is going to be about the Spurs preview, of course. It's a big one, so I'm going to have to I'm going to be in a militant mindset. You know me when it comes to Spurs. I don't fuck around. And then tomorrow, speaking of militant mindsets, I'm going to be doing a show with Ola and another guest where we're going to be breaking down a 235 card. It's a massive USC card on Saturday. Ideally, we would have liked to have talked about it sooner, but we just haven't had time for whatever reason. So I'll talk to you guys more about that. Then on Saturday, I'll be back straight after the game with Lee, with Ola, and a debutant. I'm just about to confirm with them. So I've not yet made that announcement. But when I do confirm with them, I'll announce it on Twitter. So you can follow me at Colossal Chig on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram, Guna_Eagle_I1. And also you can support the show. You know, whenever I put an ad on, and I know people get pissed off with my ads. I know. But it all goes towards stuff for the show. You know, I showed you the mic that I bought with the show, the filters, the mic and filter, which I'm using right now. This is all with the support that you provide the show. So yeah, it's all to improve it. I'm trying to buy some lighting and some staging and stuff like that. So these are all things I want to do in order to build up the show. So please continue to support the show. You can do so on Patreon, which is Guna_Eagle_I. And that's pretty much it, people. I'm out of here. I'll be back tomorrow. Take care. Deuces.